You might too much. 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 Too much. You might too much. Too much. You might too much. You might too much. Too many crabs in a barrel, but I'd rather hang around family and battle. It's too much. Too many dripping in sauce, and I ain't hating on nobody, they can get lost. It's too much. Trying to help a nigga out, the only thing they care about is internet cloud. It's too much. Niggas sounding like each other and they all dead wrong, they don't even get along. Too much. You might 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 too much. Too much. You might too much. Too much. You might too much. You might too much drip. You might slip. 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 Too much.
You see, baby, I don't do this just for the recognition. I do it for the children. You can take the children and bounce them on their knees. Bounce them on the knee and then sing a melody. The Varnell man, did you mean he's mine?
Up in the way, cause I don't play clown. Take that with you on the way down. Up in the way, cause I don't play clown. Take that with you on the way down.
I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal.
And what I'm trying to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, is the real world that our children live in, not the ideal one that we want them to live in, not this wonderful world that we pray that will come here one day, but the real world that they have to live in. You want to know why they're acting so crazy? You want to know why they're doing the things that they're doing? Because we have not prepared them to live in this real world. We have sent them through 12 years of school teaching them this dumb stuff that doesn't work, and when they go out and try to apply it and get killed for it, we are not there.
Me an animal. I eat a fake motherfucker like a cannibal. And I don't even understand how he got that far. Cause every time he write a rhyme, it's about his goddamn car. You know the top 10 hottest in the fucking game? Well, 8 of them niggas fucking lame. It's a fucking shame how y'all put them on a pedestal. But I figure you ain't got nothing better to do.
Oh, she never coming back.
All right. What up? What up? What up, everybody? Hope all is well. Welcome to Shame Sunday. How y'all doing out there in these streets? Appreciate y'all pulling up and popping in. Welcome, welcome. Uh, some greetings to everybody. See y'all pulling up, popping in. Hey, Doc. Doc Nakumbe was up in here. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for showing up at Shame Sunday. He said to get a front row of hashtag Shame Sunday. He's in the building. I dropped some links at the top. There's a couple of topics I'm going to discuss tonight. The Mayo Clinic, we're going to discuss a little bit about seizures, epilepsy, the conditions. Mandated reporter, y'all see what that was on there. That is my thumbnail to discuss. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be short and sweet. And I got an article that I'm going to read. I'm going to do that at the end. Trigger warning, trigger warning. Welcome, 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 y'all. Who else we got in the building? Appreciate husband being here. Always on the ones and twos, assisting when needed. Take heed to the building is in the building. Hey, love, welcome. Appreciate you pulling up and popping in. Hope your day is going well. Oz is in the building. Hey, love. Good to see you. Hope y'all getting ready for the week. Y'all know how we do. Shame. I'm going to give y'all a little definition. A painful feeling of humiliation and distress, and is caused by the consciousness of wrong and foolish behavior. 2024 was unique. I saw a lot of passion, Mrs.SheSaid, screaming a little bit, getting a little bit hot and tight with the conversation with just the behaviors, having to show you guys and give you a view. It was more so for self-reflection and accountability, and awareness. Some of those behaviors some may see in themselves, so hopefully we're growing accustomed to seeing these things because people exhibit them out in society. So here we show a view, shame. It's a loss of respect or esteem and dishonor. Talked about this a lot all year 2023. So this year we're going to focus a little bit more on standards, information, and being proactive instead of reactive, especially when it comes to our children, and advocacy, because it's really important when you become a parent to know your rights and be aware of all situations and trying to be proactive when it comes to our children, especially when they are institutionalized, going to school, getting them prepared. So I discussed a lot of that. I gave you a lot of view of how tired and exhausted the educators are, and not just with the children, but with you guys, the parents. Parents got to be more present, more conscious, and know what's happening with their children, their grades and such. We showed a lot about children getting all the way to high school and they can't graduate because they didn't meet none of the requirements. Thank you, babe. They didn't meet any of the requirements. And I see so many parents blame the school. When if you're proactive, you would know that your child was failing. You would know that your child can't read on a 7th or 8th grade level and math. So we know that this is existing in our society. So, oh yeah, I tried to give a view just so even the future children, the future young people who are creating families are more aware of their rights and responsibilities and duties when it comes to these children. Um, Shame is also, another person's actions or situations can bring a loss of respect and honor. And usually that standard is set at home. We set the standard at home of what that is, whether you use religion, you use spirituality, your own moral compass. Either way, they supposed to get that from home. So it's on us to create that dynamic. And oh, says Mr. He said I'm gonna have to change that. Shout out to hubby. A lot of ignorance. Ignorance is a noun. It's a lack of knowledge or information. So it's definitely something we like to try to provide. Take what you need, throw the rest away. Um, Plausible deniability, goodness gracious. It refers to the ability of an individual to deny knowing about something nefarious because there is no proof to the contrary. Shout out to y'all. Understanding, the ability of understanding something, okay, to comprehend, aware of others' feelings, tolerant and forgiving. So a lot of things that we need to teach and instill into our children. So it was discussed and talked about a lot this year. Temperance, restraint, showing some restraint and some self-control. It's hard for them to learn that if we are out of control. So it's been coined by Brianna Henderson, the educator advocate. She said it was the season of the in control of being out of control child. But we also have the in control of being out of control adults. Because adults should be able to control themselves at least better than the children. So it was a lot of that being discussed. So this year we're going to focus on trying to give you guys a little bit more information, especially about parenting and being proactive. Because a lot of people don't know. I keep hearing that we don't know, we don't know. So I'm going to share a couple of videos. I came across a video of a fight between a student and a teacher. Shameful shit. I played it in the preview. If you watched it, that was the fight. That young lady, the student, has epilepsy and takes medication for seizures. And that teacher is an educator. It was a horrible situation to watch, and then finding out the whole situation behind it, it's pretty shameful. And us as parents, we need to be very proactive, especially if we're sending our children to school who has medical needs. And it's a part of teaching them to be proactive as well. Being very verbal about their situation, even if there's a substitute in class. I'm not sure if that teacher was a substitute, but many would say teacher didn't know because they don't belong to that school. But it was wrong. The teacher was wrong, in my opinion. The consideration of the child was needed at that point, but that child needed to consider their own health and situation. Because having an altercation will absolutely trigger a seizure. So that's the proactiveness I want to discuss with you guys about the parents' part in that, making sure that child is aware that they have the capability to speak up as soon as they walk in class. Listen, I have epilepsy and it may come a time during class that I need to take my medication. That can help a situation. And that's being proactive, just speaking up for yourself. I can't see. And that was me advocating for myself as a child. I'm gonna reflect on me. I didn't get glasses till I was 11. Mind you, you guys are 2020 vision. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate the good sight. Um, Born 180. So one side is 100, one side is 80. So I'm pretty blind. I can see things close up, but far away it's pretty blurry. So I had to make do up until 11 years old. So you wonder why I preach being a conscious parent, because it took my fifth grade teacher to explain to my mother that you might need to take her to the eye doctor. She might need glasses because she's always asking to come to the front of the class to draw, to write off the board or whatever the case may be. So that was done and I got me some glasses. But the first 11 years I was walking around in a blur. So I had to learn to figure out people, their walks, their voices, and things like that, because I couldn't see close up. I had to learn to adapt. So being proactive is important. Noticing that your child can't hear, you trying to do things or say hello and they're not, noticing, they're not turning their head or things like that. Um, their articulation is not there. They're not speaking at all. Those things may contribute to their hearing. So it's a lot of things that parents really need to be aware of when we get into this life of being a parent. Let me see who else is in the building. Welcome everybody, whoever's popping up. Appreciate y'all pulling up and popping in. Information man is in the building. Can you navigate from over there? No. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you. So it's a lot of information out here. That's right. Please hit that like button, subscribe, share with anybody you think would appreciate this content. So my title says mandated reporter. Mhm. This is important because many of us are, and in different states, there's different rules, there's different laws, but all the while, it's all to protect other people. Your job is to protect other people. If you notice harm being done to a child or a regular person and an elder, mostly the children and the elders, because, they need advocacy. They need people to speak up for them because sometimes they can't do it for themselves. Um, so it's very important for us to know the responsibilities of being a mandated reporter, who are to report, and how that reporting is done. I put the links in the description as well as in the chat where you can get that information if need be, and how you go about doing it nationally. Let me see. I got some information here I want to read to y'all. Mandated reporters. It refers to the legal obligation to report abuse. Anything you consider to be abuse, neglect to anyone, you put in the report and they do the investigating. And with that report, it should be a certain amount of information that's going to be needed. Names of the child, family, and their contact information, where the child is located, where the child is in immediate danger, whether the child is in immediate danger, the description of what you witness, and why you are concerned. How do you report? How do you report abuse of a child, anyone, or an elder? You check with the State Department of Health. Our phones are little computers, and in your state, it varies. So you check with your State Department of Health and Welfare or contact the local law enforcement to learn where to report the suspected abuse. It's a lot going on, and we are quiet. People are not speaking up. This is why I chose to have this presented to you guys, because you're required as humans. We are required to take care of each other and look out for each other. We have become a society of I don't care, it doesn't happen to me, and I don't care. All right. Research suggests that mandated reporting requires professionals to make accurate and informed decisions in the child's best interests. Typically, this includes the following individuals: babysitters, clergy, daycare providers, dentists, doctors, law enforcement, teachers, teachers' aides, school employees, nurses, medical professionals. Certain organizations and agencies are required to report suspected abuse, include daycares, child advocacy organizations, domestic abuse organizations, hospitals, medical clinics, shelters, and schools. Mhm. The local Department of Human Services, sometimes called Child Protective Services, or the Department of Social Services, investigates the report and determines whether intervention is necessary. And they usually try to be quick and swift with this. No notice is given to where the immediate danger is going on. The child is pretty much being seized. They get the paperwork together and make that happen. Mandated reporters are required to notify the local Department of Social Services or the appropriate law enforcement agency about suspected cases of child abuse or neglect as soon as possible. Mandated reporters may report suspected child abuse, elder abuse, or vulnerable adult abuse. And that includes someone taking their own life, suicide, if you think someone is struggling, in extreme depression, uh, making claims of hurting themselves. You're required to report. You're required to report. If you are not capable of intervening, talking that person, into a better place and space in their life. So understand that making that call is important to help them. Mandated reporters typically do not investigate suspected abuse. It's not your job to do the investigating. Rather, their obligation is to report the suspicion. They are not required to tell the parent or guardian about the report, and often the mandated reporter will not share the allegation if the guardian might be the predator. Information is kept private. Some states there are no statute of limitations on failing to make a report. As such, victims of abuse can pursue charges against the mandated reporter no matter how long ago they disclosed the abuse. So, people who know and don't speak up, there's no statute of limitations of failure to making that report, and that person continually to be harmed, staying in a unsafe place. So that's something to be conscious of, especially if you're a mandated reporter. Your profession is in the medical field. You're a teacher, educator, daycare provider. Mona D is in the building. How you doing, love? Appreciate you pulling up, popping in. The more information you have, the more the investigators will have to work with. The more information you have, the more the investigators will have to work with. That's true. Sarah chimed in. We have the mandated reporter line we have to call. There's a line for each state. The Justice Center. Okay. That's New York City. Investigations commence within 12 to 72 hours, depending on the situation. Yep. It's important, man. It's a lot of struggling families out here. And, that struggle can cause you to allow yourselves to be placed in harm, allowing things to happen under your watch. Mandated reporting aims to ensure the safety of vulnerable populations and prevent abuse. Check your government website to learn more about your state's mandated reporting laws. And again, how do you report? You check with your state Department of Health and Welfare or contact local law enforcement to learn where to report suspected abuse. If you didn't hear me before, what you have to give them: the names of the child, the family, and their contact information, where the child is located, whether the child is in immediate danger, description of what you witnessed, and why you are concerned. What to add? I said that, right? Yep, names and all of that. I put that in twice. I apologize. Other information that might be helpful: your name, contact information, relationship to the child, name of other people who might know the situation. So if the child may have spoken to someone else, another child, a sitter, all these names need to be provided so they can, best do their investigating. Mona D, anyone who makes a complaint of abuse or neglect, their info is to remain confidential as required by law. Yes. Donique is in the building. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you pulling up and popping in. Yeah. But I wanted to give y'all that information. It's important to be an advocate. It's important to have that advocate spirit, that advocacy spirit. Because the field of being a lioness, especially when it comes to your children, it's powerful. It's a powerful strength. It's a powerful inspiration and motivation to be stronger, to work harder. And I don't think all women are blessed with that, and I have been. So even if my sternness and my confidence gives another sister more confidence to advocate for themselves as well as their children, I'm gonna be here. And I know it's going to help my children when they go back to need information or mentoring from their mother or their grandmother when I'm no longer here. So, this is not just for you guys. We have a legacy to leave behind, and I want them to be prepared and have as much information as they possibly can. And if it can come from me, I'm blessed. I would have loved to got a lot of this from grandma and great grandmas and all of that, but yeah, we didn't have that. So we breaking cycles over here. Mona D. You'd be surprised how many people have good intentions when making reports, but due to them not disclosing all important information, we have to reject those complaints. hmm Thank you for doing the work that you do. That's hard work. I grew up with another sister doing that work for many years, and we've heard quite some stories. And working in the field of being in foster care, you hear quite some stories as well. So these kids need advocacy, and they need us to look out for them as well as our own children. Hey, Bella Rings is in the building. Glad to see you. I hope all is well. Happy Sunday, everybody. But if y'all wasn't here, I'm gonna play this fight for you guys. It's a teacher and a student, high school, and I'm playing it because I want parents to be aware if their children have some type of medical condition, the school needs to know need to be extremely present. And in that mind frame of everyone needs to know who you are and that this condition exists. Your child needs to be able to speak up for themselves and articulate what the condition is, what medical prescriptions and things that they need to do to make sure they're staying safe when they're in school. That's very important because this situation could have went a whole nother way. It went horribly. It went horribly. And when I look at the comments, a lot of the blame was on the teacher and the little girl. I don't blame anybody. It was just a horrible situation. So moving forward, we can create a dynamic with our children for them to be able to advocate for themselves and speak up for themselves, especially when it comes to something like this. Because for the little girl to have epilepsy and in need of taking her meds and was prevented to do that, and then a fight ensues, and the child still continues to have a seizure after this fight. So we're going to play this video for y'all so y'all can have a look at it. Let me know what you think. That's the fight. That's not the fight. That's not the fight. But it's in the computer. Give me a second, guys. November is National Epilepsy Month, if you didn't know. Yeah, there's a fight in school. We know it exists, it happens. But this situation could have been prevented, in my opinion, with some advocacy, with that child being fully aware of their condition. And you shouldn't aggravate it, especially with an assault, with fighting. But then we have to deal with, the educator and her approach and the disrespect to the child. Who said she didn't believe what she was taking or saying or any of that. Know who your children are in your classroom. You should be aware that they have a condition. She could have been a substitute, no matter. And this is where the advocacy of our children needs to be on high alert because she's aware. Who has more information? The little girl, student. She has all of the information. And we speak about being a conscious parent because everybody is not going to consider your child. Everyone is not going to pander and coddle your child. Some people are mean as shit and they look to cause drama, wait for any opportunity to fight or assault. Some young people, grown women behave like children and it doesn't turn off. People grow up chronologically, but their mindset, their character doesn't grow up with them. It doesn't mature. Because as an educator, she should have did a better job. She should not have been fighting and rolling all over the floor with the child. And this is where we are. Many educators are exhausted, stressed the hell out, don't enjoy their job, and then they come to school and wind up assaulting your child. So I just wanted to shine a light on that because I constantly see a lot of educators fighting their students. Promote conscious parenting. And that means we need to be a little bit more present. Understand work takes a lot of time. You're stressed out. Mama want to have a life. Daddy want to have a life. But we're not preparing our young people to move around in this world as adults. Did y'all watch our show yesterday? We did a reaction to a video on YouTube that's circulating, and it's called "The Most Entitled Kids Ever." A couple of kids being stopped in the mall for being disrespectful and were told they needed to leave. They didn't. So now you're being charged with trespassing. It was a whole police situation. But it was more so on just the behavior of the children, the disrespect to the elders, the disrespect to authority, to just public property. Understanding when we send our children out without us, there's rules that they have to follow. And we all understand this. We were children. We went out, had fun, went to the mall, acted a fool, and all of that. But when certain authorities came around, you were told to stop. I was in a clique where we stopped. We stopped or we left. We go for all sales where we're not going to get in trouble or get locked up. Young, too. So you have to teach these kids, how to fight their battles, not to fight every battle. Don't entertain every situation. Don't look for any opportunity to act a fool, be disrespectful. They have to be conscious. I'm tired of seeing news where our children are being deleted over and over again. And we blame everybody else and not their behavior. Sometimes their behavior needs to come into question as well. Eyes has a question. Does anyone know if there is a mandate for schools to ask for that information? Is there mandated for a school to ask for the medical information of a child? I think you might be assuming too. You let me know if I'm correct. Um, I'm not sure, honestly, but I would say it's more of the responsibility on the parent to make the school aware. And then at that point, I would say the school might be responsible for making sure the other educators are aware, at least that child's specific educators. A simple email with documentation, you know? But again, we're not sure if all these educators care that much. You have to be that advocate. I've had to be that advocate. I've had to mentor other parents when our children were young to tell them to speak up. And it's not easy. Not everybody is tough. Not everybody has tough skin. Mona D chimed in. Parents are required to complete, yes, medication authorization forms stating the child's condition, the medication, who can administer the med, even if it's the child. Yes, when your child is enrolled in school, every year you get sent home a whole bunch of paperwork and you have to sit there and fill that out. So they will know if you put that information on there. And even more, you go further because when they start switching schools, you get names of all the teachers. They have a meet and greet. And it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure they have phone contact, email contact, emergency contact directly to each teacher. Every year, 4 kids, 3 went through public school, all the way through. Each year, sitting up in there, meeting every teacher, going from class to class, making sure they have our personal information. If our child acts up, if there's any problems, please reach out. But when we're there, we don't see a whole bunch of other parents. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? And not just in one state. Maryland, New York, Virginia, New York again. hmm We have all the information. We have all the information, and it needs to be handed over to them. And when your child has this kind of condition, you absolutely need to have them be aware and how to handle themselves when they go into class and there's a different teacher right away. That should be, let me tell you, I have this and that, and I have to take these meds just in case, you know? But we teaching our kids, have this chip on your shoulder. It's okay. You're not having a good day, so be a bitch. This is the type of shit that's being told. We have to push through that. We weren't able to behave like that. Sarah chimed in. They usually ask on their registration forms at the beginning of the school year. The health office may know, but not the individual teachers. So the teachers would need to be notified. Absolutely. And we say that, but I have to say, going through, the school all this time, it's your job as the parent to notify each teacher. It's your job. You cannot guarantee that the administration is going to do that. There's no guarantee. They're lackadaisical. People come to work to get their 9 to 5. They don't care. Many of them don't. Shout out to the ones who do. Y'all work really hard. You are appreciated, but many don't. So again, it's still on the parent to make sure that all that information is provided. And if anything was to happen, this is what you have to do. This is what you are required to do. So be strong, build up your strength and your confidence. If you got to look in the mirror and say it over and over again just to hear yourself, get your tone a little deeper. Because some people give you pushback. Some schools give you pushback, and not necessarily about a medical, but your children's education, your children coming home, speaking up about things, and nobody is doing anything. You have to advocate for them. So when they see you speak up, they're gonna learn to speak up and don't just let shit slide. You understand? It's very important because ain't nobody gonna take care of them but them, and they need to know that. I think I went through all of that. Y'all got any questions about the mandating reporting? Any state, from state to state, it is different. Um, it's not a number nationwide, but there are nationwide rules and regulations. But each state has, their own little um, direct entity that you have to deal with. So you have to check into that. Um, yeah, I got another video for y'all. We're going to continue on the advocacy for your children. Epilepsy is another medical condition that, a lot of people have. And if you've never known anybody that has epilepsy and experienced seizures, it's a very traumatic thing to experience. It's a very traumatic thing for them to go through. Um, and it's something we all should be aware of because you never know when you may come across someone having a seizure and you may be the person to assist and help save their life. Because a lot of people do a lot of wrong things when someone is having a seizure. The first time I experienced it, I was a little girl hanging out with our friends in Rochdale. Shout out to Queens, and on my crew, we was going to the mall, and it was a man walking in front of us, and we thought he was drunk. You know, we was young. We thought he was drunk. Look at this drunk man, you know, but he was kind of stumbling back, and he fell to the ground, and he started shaking. And somebody had said, I think he's having a seizure, you know. So we all ran to the security office and, you know, let them know it wasn't that far, let them know that the man was having a seizure, you know, and they called the medical people. And we wound up seeing him and he was grateful that we went and got help for him, you know. But the worst part is when they have a seizure, if they're standing and they fall, they can bust their head open, you know. Um, so it's a lot of different tips that you can look for with your family members, especially if you know them. You know, they'll go into a blank kind of stare, or in mid conversation, their whole everything will just change. So you can kind of see that it's happening. Just be there to support, get them down to the ground, clear the area so they can lay down on their side. Don't put anything in their mouth. Don't put anything in their mouth. That used to be a thing, right? They used to say, get a belt, get a spoon, and put it in their mouth. It's not television. I'm not a medical professional, but I have experienced this. I took care of people who took meds for seizures and have seizures, have had seizures, mild seizures, and grand mal seizures. But they were people with developmental disabilities. So it was a little different. And you had to notice, you had to pay a lot of attention to them. So be cautious, um, being proactive when it comes to medical conditions like this is going to be better for everybody because being reactive may be dangerous. So, got some comments in here. I hear y'all helping out with what Sarah say. Shared number in case anyone needed it. So Sarah shared a number up here for you guys. Y'all check in the comments. Promote conscious parenting. Hubby, one of my best friends is epileptic. It's tough supporting them through an episode, but it's doable. Yes, hubby had to experience that firsthand. Him and his best friend was on a trip, and they was busing it years ago, and they were midway through the trip, and he had a seizure. They had to get him off the bus, all the equipment. You know, it was a lot. You know, and he has grand mal seizures, right? Yeah. But he took care of him, made sure he was good, contacted the wife, and you know, got him back home safe. But after a episode, they're exhausted. They're exhausted. It's very traumatic. The brain is just warped, and it affects everything. So you know, you be mindful. Mona D said, position them on their side and call 911. Just gotta let them go through it. Their body's gonna go through it, and hopefully they come out of it. And you know, you make sure they're good because some people come out of a seizure and they jump up. So you have to make sure they're calm and they stay down. You know, you don't want them to fall and bust their head open. Mona D chimed in. She said, I used to be a social worker for children, adults with intellectual developmental disabilities. Many of them had seizures. Yeah, scary. Yeah, but can be less scary when we know what to look for and what to do. Absolutely. Yes, that's the main part. It's less scary. That's what I say when someone is drowning or you're swimming and you know you lose your grip or someone is don't know how to swim. That's the first thing that's going to make you drown. You panic. Yes. So that's the first step in any type of emergency. Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Call 911. Help them onto their side and call 911. Yes. Thank you. Great tips. Great tips. I got a video for y'all. The Mayo Clinic. Um, you know, they do studies. It's a lot of places that do studies on children and adults, sleep studies and all kinds of things. So I found uh, a seizure study. You know, a family has been doing studies, you know, just to keep an eye on their child and just how severe it is. Also, when they're having a seizure, try to time it so you can see how long the seizure is, because they're different in their range. One of my guys used to have a seizure and he would just sit and be still, like he can be in mid talk. Mind you, he had special needs, so he was like 83 years old. But Bill would be in mid conversation and he would just kind of gaze a little and his eyes would just start doing that. So he didn't have grand mal seizures. He had very mild seizures. And it could have been the medication that was stopping him from having grand mal. So his was really, really light. We just would make sure he would be still in the chair, so he doesn't fall. He never really fell, but that's how mild they can be. So some children may exhibit these things and you don't even notice. It's like, why is my child doing this? Like stare off and blinking type thing. So pay attention to that stuff. Don't ignore it. But I'm gonna let y'all watch this trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. If you have never seen a seizure, it's even worse when you watch a child have to go through that. But the parents are fully aware and they're doing the right thing by clearing the space and just allowing her to go through it. So kudos to the parents for allowing the Mayo Clinic to video record this for educational purposes only. So I appreciate you guys. Trigger warning, trigger warning. It's just the instructions that I gave you prior.
Jeff.
Shout out to that family. Yeah, it's a lot of information out here that we can equip ourselves with, so we can be better prepared for situations like this. Take Heed chimed in. I appreciate you, sister, for being transparent and telling us. The first time our son had one, he was 2, and I thank God my king was home, and he on point because his brother had them, and he know what to do. I was crying, right? Yeah. I mean, we move in emotion. We're gonna think a little bit more emotionally first, and see that a lot when I watch a lot of children in distress. Mothers are screaming, like we screaming and help me, instead of being calm. Don't panic, and I'm sure at that age you didn't even know what was happening. You didn't know what was happening. It scared the shit out of you. It would scare any of us. Yeah, that was hard to watch. Who child? It's hard to watch. Thank you, ladies, for all of your human service professional work. You are all appreciated. Yes. Thank you, ladies, for real. For real. Oh, take heed. I can imagine how scared you were. Yes. Thank God your son had you all to support him. Yes. Very scary. Very scary. And you wouldn't believe how many people, children have to live with this. I'm going to find out what specifically our friend had a procedure to assist him with not having as many grand mal seizures. He had a brain surgery. So there is help. He went all the way to California to get it, and it has been successful, and he's doing much better. And we appreciate that. Science is coming through. Because that is something hard to watch someone go through. I remember having to watch my auntie at night because she would have seizures in her sleep. Yeah, there was another time I was probably 10. Uh, my brother was on drugs, and he must have got something, but it was around Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I remember coming into the living room, and he was convulsing on the floor, having a seizure from, I don't know if he was detoxing or if he had something that just made him, have that happen to him. But, he went to the hospital, and, he told us all about it, joked about it like it was funny. Some people never learn. He's been a lifetime 50-plus-year-old drug addict, back and forth, in and out. We all have our vices, and this is what I say. Every rose can't grow through the concrete. Everyone is not going to be built with the resilience, but it's something that we can teach and mold into our children now, so they can have a better beginning than we may have had. So I appreciate y'all. Nope, I don't know. Yes, prayers up, love. Prayers up. Brain surgeries, yes, they exist. Do some research, find out what resources is out there, because compared to 20, 30 years ago, it's so much more. We just got to do the work. You have to do the work, especially when it comes to your children. He lives in Cali now and had maybe 2 episodes last year. He is very blessed, absolutely. And this was someone who was having him constantly, almost daily. So shout out to science, and I'm so glad he's doing better. Sis said, I remember. Oh, I think we said that already. Uh-oh. Yes, thank you. My great uncle lost his life to drug addiction. Yes. Many, many. I watched a lot of family members go through the drugs, affect their life, their health. It is what it is. Everybody is not going to be as resilient and as strong to break the chains, to break the cycle. Um, this is why we try to promote the conscious parenting. The more we tell our children, the more aware they will be. When you have parents who just neglect to give information, because we know it's drugs out there. You need to make them aware. Don't think you telling them or giving them the knowledge is going to create a yearning that they're going to want to do it. Like, show them the effects. Prevention is what we want. Being proactive is what we want. Setting standards for our children. You have to have them for yourself, because you can set all the standards you want, but if you're not moving in that, your children are watching. They know a fool when they see one. They know a liar when they see one. They know a manipulator when they see one. So pay attention to how you're behaving. Um, yeah, so sorry, Bella. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, got a cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. So awesome. Thank you. Cash app. Got a song or something? Dance. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Can't believe I made it. It's my first time getting money. Where's my money? It's right here. Right there. Y'all can't see me. We getting rich. Hard body youngins. We getting rich together. Yeah. We getting rich together.
Thank you. Thank you. Did y'all see them rollers, them old school cushion soft pink rollers? Y'all remember those? Yeah, we got some of those. Shout out to the old school rollers. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, not hard body. We getting money, son. We getting money over here. But seriously, this last one is an article. Um, trigger warning. Trigger warning. It's an article. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I'm going to read it to you. I had posted it on my page. Um, a horrific act that happened recently in Houston, Texas. Yes, the Gallery Mall. It's on the FBI news list and everything. Gentleman named Arthur Hector Fernandez III. 29-year-old man. The feds have charged him with videos surfacing that uploaded on the dark web of him and 7 other men abusing children in the bathroom. 2 little kids in the bathroom, 2 little toddlers in the bathroom. 7 men filmed themselves gang raping and abusing 2 toddlers in the bathroom at a Houston Galleria mall. This is horrible. It's horrific. Sickos, predators, groomers, people we trust with our children. It's very important. It's very important to vet the people you have around your children. And we have so many people in hard places, you know. You in a hard rock, you got to go to work. You know, you got an employee that seems cool, and they say, you know, I watch a kid. You know, the kids seem like they like them, and you know, in a mall, a public place. Do people let your children go to the bathrooms by themselves? Our 18-year-old just started working at the theater and said they can't believe how many kids walk out of that movie theater and go into the bathroom by themselves. And this is now. This is now. Nowhere. Yeah, no. I see you, Mona D. We don't do that. Promote conscious parenting. There's creepy people everywhere, and they right in your damn family most of the time. And again, finding yourself in a hard place. Got to go to work. You need anybody to watch that kid. This is why we need a village. We need a village of people that we can trust. That ain't stressing a whole bunch of money. I got to give you $20 every time I drop my kid off. People who show you results. Show you results that their children are doing well, that their children are functioning at a level where you could be comfortable with leaving your children. Because we have a lot of people just having children and they're pretty desperate and they just drop them off anywhere. And we've been seeing all through the year the daycare facilities are not as good either. And we're paying them to abuse our children. And this I stressed a lot, Shame Sunday, all year. Because I want mothers to be a little bit more conscious. I want you to choose between your job and your fucking children. I do. I want you to choose between your job and your children. And I need you to be more conscious when you choose and decide to want to leave their father. And now you got to do it on your own. Be a little bit conscious of your behavior before things break down. It's not just the other person. You got to have to self-reflect on yourself and what you could do better. Maybe you could do something a little more. But we raising girls over here. It's never enough. It's never a fucking enough. And we love them to death and they get it all. They get a lot. A lot of our attention, a lot of love, and a lot of things. And it's still never enough. They grow out of it, but you have to mold that shit. You have to model it. You have to mold it. You have to repeat it constantly, consistently, all the time, especially the girls. Child. It's crazy. I had to go out. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. I had to go out the day before yesterday. And I don't usually go to this dollar store because we went in there one time and hubby said, go in there no more. And I knew better. So I'm going to point that out first. I should have listened to husband. I should have listened to my husband in my mind, knowing that I shouldn't have went to this store. But it's a quick pit stop, so I ain't got to go around the world to hit up the other store. So I go in, me and Maddie go get our things. There's lines going on, right? Going to a dollar store. Lines are there, you know. There's no sign, there's no person at the front taking bags or anything. So, you know, we go do our shopping. It was only a couple things I needed to get. So we get into the one aisle and a lady comes up with a goddamn top hat. She had on just the outfit was crazy. No staff shirt, you know, didn't greet me with a hello or anything. All I heard from the side was, you got to check your bag. And I got a mask on and stuff, so I'm a little shocked because she ain't got on no staff shirt. She ain't said hello. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Nobody said nothing at the front, and I'm done. So we're gonna go ahead to the front. Don't worry, we're not trying to steal anything. I didn't say you was gonna steal anything, and da 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 da. She started to say something else, ma'am. No worries. I'm going up to the front right now. You can follow me if you like. So we get to walking, and I hear her say something in the aisle in the form of, damn, people are so mean about me. Okay, I'm mean now, you know. Okay. So we online, two people in front, get to the front to the cashier, and I let her know. I'm like, yo, where's your manager? Got a manager up here? Because the lady in the aisle, she kind of like reprimanded me for not dropping my bag off. And you didn't say anything to me when I came in about leaving my bag. So, but I'm here. I'm gonna pay for my stuff. So she comes to the register and she hear me, and it must have been the manager who walked up, and she said, "Yeah, because that lady, she didn't want to leave her bag. I told her to check her bag, and she got an attitude." And the manager says to her, she didn't even look at me to get my side or anything. She just said, "Oh, they don't want to leave their bag, and they don't shop." I'm like, "Wow, okay, so this is how you deal with customers?" I'm like, "Ma'am, I could be quality and assurance coming from corporate. This lady works here. You work here. Nobody has on staff shirts. The guys in the aisle had on staff shirts, but she walked up on me in the aisle like I was gonna steal something, like, and was rude. Didn't say hello. Didn't say she worked here or nothing. And she started getting an attitude and started, telling the lady stuff or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I see what this is gonna be. This was good. This is gonna be believe all women. This is not that type of situation I'm ready to get into. Y'all can keep y'all stuff. I don't need to buy my things, but best believe I'm gonna call corporate and I'm gonna let them know the kind of store you running here. You got boxes and stuff all in the aisles. Your lines is backed up. You're disrespectful, like poor customer service. And of course, they didn't like that I spoke very articulately about what I was gonna do when I left there and not buy my shit. Because then it's like, now we don't need you to buy our stuff from here. So this is not how management should work. This is not how customer service should work. So I reprimanded them for that. And on my way out, I don't know what she was saying, but it just got me a little irritated. And I did call her a bitch. I did. Yeah, I did when I left out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was ready to come after me, but I stood right outside the store and boop boop my car to start it and told Madison to get inside. The one who approached me was probably 62, 63 years old. When the manager had to be 50. I'm 47. She probably had to be 50, 52. And I could be fucking graceful. I'm just saying. But just to watch these ladies be that cantankerous and mean and work in the service of customer service, it's amazing to me. And I purposely went out the store because you coming out the store as the manager, you coming out the store to assault me. Now, if I'd have whooped on your ass, I ain't getting in trouble. But me fighting you in your store, I would have got in trouble. But listen to your husband. That's the point of that fucking story. Because my husband would have been like, don't go there. And I should have listened in my head. Let me tell you what I did. I got in the car, and the first thing I said to Madison was, listen to your husband. She was like, I said, listen to your husband. Because if I would have listened to your daddy, this would not have happened. This is a store that he tells me not to go in. And I went. And look what happened. So shout out to the Family Dollar. Fuck y'all. And I called corporate and told all of y'all, and I hope you get in trouble. That's how you do things. Advocacy. I ain't have to call her a bitch though. I ain't gonna front, but they was acting like one. So it is what it is. It comes out. I am from the hood. Pick your battles, and that was one I should have just left. I didn't have to entertain that. Once I said I wasn't buying my stuff, I should have just left. So I had to check myself. Shame on me. Won't do it next time. I'm learning and growing. We all are. Okay. Great Pill is in the building. Hello, hello. He said, you should meet my mother. LOL. She'd stay inside, be loud, tell it all, and calling and asking for corp at the same time. My mom's too. Shout out to the moms. But I had to show Maddie, you gotta stay calm. I wasn't screaming and yelling, she was, but just letting them know what I was gonna do. And they had gave poor service. Like, it scared her a little bit. But we okay. We talked about it, and we definitely have preparations for next time, because she can easily just press the green button in the car and call daddy or call 911, just in case something does happen and something does become physical and there's an altercation. At least she'll have somebody safe that she can contact. Now she knows how to do it. Yes, listen to your hubby, ladies. Listen to your hubbies. Listen to your hubby. Let me tell you. When we say this, I'm not just saying it to shame people. I mean, I am a woman. Goddamn, I am a woman, and I have a temper. I have an attitude. I don't like to be told to do stuff, all of that. But learning to show some temperance was very important for me, because me and my husband would not be here 26 years later. We wouldn't. I had to learn. I had to grow the fuck up. And I needed to think logically and stop moving on my emotions and be very proactive, you know? And it's not easy. It's not easy to have somebody check you. But I was used to it. I had a mom and brothers, but it was hard to hear it from him. But I was willing to accept it because I love him and I want to be here and I want us to be together. Sarah chimed in. Seems like most of their managers are very unprofessional and rude. Absolutely. Yeah. It's usually only one in Baltimore City that I go to. I probably go to two, and they're pretty cool. Because you go to the same one, they kind of know you. So stupid on me for going over there. Won't do that again. Yeah. Um, yeah, let me get back to that article, because that's what we was about to read. The assault on the children in Houston, Texas, right? The Galleria Mall. This Arthur Hector Fernandez the third, 29 years old. Um, the article is attached in the description if y'all want to pull it up and read it. It's very distressing. But this did happen. Videos are on the black web. The feds are on it. So he will be charged soon. Right now, it's allegedly it just happened on the 6th, where they just found out on the 6th. We don't know how long it was happening to these poor children. But it's horrific. And you wouldn't believe how normal this shit is. Okay? Maps, maps, maps. Minor attracted persons. It's a thing. It's a fucking sexuality. And it exists, and it's always been. It's written into history. And we need to fucking expose it and advocate for the little people who cannot speak for themselves. So, and I just want mothers to be very proactive with their babies. And sometimes you have to sacrifice the things you want for the things that you need, and that's for your children to be safe. So even if we as women start to advocate more for jobs to be more considerate, giving more time with our children, or big hospitals and places that have large facilities, make a floor dedicated to daycare, where your children can be right there in the facility while you work. These things need to be advocated for, and we can push for it. In numbers, we can do a lot of shit. And if we want to work, we have to make arrangements for our goddamn children. And if daddy and mommy can't fluctuate shifts, which is very hard. Ooh, you remember them shifts? You work in the daytime, you work in the nighttime, like holy crap. Because you don't want your children to go to nobody else. And we had to do that a lot. So consider the children, guard them babies, because they can't tell you. And if you're not paying attention, you probably won't even notice. Probably won't notice. Guard them babies. Work. Guard them cubs from any and everybody. But you got to be conscious. So yeah, Shame Sunday, we're gonna show the shameful behaviors. Y'all know pedophilia is a fucking shameful behavior. Maps people shameful. It's disgraceful how our children are still being taken advantage of, and we cannot continue to turn a blind eye to it. So the women who have been affected in their own childhoods, be proactive. Be proactive with your children, because we know what's out there. We know the groomers. We know how it starts. We know how it can begin. Talk to them. Don't be uncomfortable. Have that conversation. Creep them the fuck out. They should know. Because when they feel that with their uncle or their auntie, they'll come right to you and be like, yeah, so and so tried to touch my vagina. Passion. Ooh, child. Triggering. Have them conversations, ladies, with your babies, okay? It's very important. Even if you know you don't have them around people, still start young about what's appropriate and what's inappropriate when it comes to touching their personal body, okay? Y'all know we promote conscious parenting over here. You can always reach out to us at promoteconsciousparenting@gmail.com for any inquiries, information, any collabs. It's all appreciated. And I see most of the women that are the lionesses work, or we all kind of work in the same kind of fields, caring for other people, advocating for other people, taking care of other people. It's not easy. It's not easy. But we here and we're going to keep doing it. Tell them, tell them, tell them. Tell them everything. That's right, sis. Tell them everything. hmm Let them ask questions. They got a lot. They got a lot. So be prepared for that. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Lord, they don't shut up. So be prepared for that. It's okay. Let them talk because they need to. They need to be comfortable enough to come and talk to you about everything. You know. So I hope you guys got a little bit of information today. Be that man. I think we're all mandated reporters, man. You see somebody being hurt, even if you don't want to jump in a couple fight, you in your car, call 911. Let them know the street and the address or whatever. It's as much information as you got. But when it comes to these kids in school, advocate for them. If your child has medical conditions, be very open with the teachers. Pop up, show up, learn who these teachers are, make sure they have your contact information, and make sure your child is vocal enough to speak up. And if not, you can make an ID that has all the information on it and they can wear it. So if your child is nonverbal, you can have that and just teach them to show it, to the teacher when they come into the class. Because we do have a lot of people's children who have autism or are on the spectrum and are not verbal. So always have some type of identification so people can contact you and your child can advocate for themselves. So if you teach them, they will, because they'll be like, I'm Donnie. I got to take my pill at 6 o'clock. So please make sure we try to be proactive instead of reactive, because things don't usually go well when we're reactive. Goodness gracious. Shout out to all the ladies. Salute to our ladies. Red lipstick vibes. Take heed to the message. Marriage to support. It's Michelle's podcast, Mona D, Bella Rings, The Real Precious, Family Values TV, The Wife School, Almond Eyes, and J Mac. You ladies are appreciated. We're going to keep always giving y'all a shout out. So the more we get heard, the more we can get heard. 2024 is our year. The lionesses are here. We pulling up, and we ain't having it. I don't know.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Will you disrespect?
Yeah. Oh, not on my watch, man. It's always been like that. My nieces and nephews know, the godchildren know, all the children I mentor. They know I don't play that shit, but I love them deaf, and they get enough love and nurture and fun. And I always tell them that you get all of that when it's time to reprimand or take some critique. You're gonna have to be able to take that shit too. Okay. You should take that with a smile on your face too. They like all the good, but when it's time to be held accountable, child, ooh, they don't like that. So we have adults who walk around and behave the same way. Rear up your children. Teach them about accountability and being responsible. Teach them to have standards for themselves. Create small goals, and they have to fulfill them. Even if it's just, I'm going to make sure I brush my teeth at 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock or those things. Let them make some rules so they see you made this rule. Look at that. You made that one. You're not following your own rule. Yeah. They feel a little bullied, Little kids don't want to be little kids in a house of grown-ups. They don't, So you have to explain to them that it's going to be a growth and development. but the maturity has to show. So please set some goals for yourself. And this is where we are with Madison now, having to prepare her, seeing, look, you set this standard for you. Okay. You said you was going to do this at this time and that at that time. So, they have to learn to self-regulate. I'm tired of puppeteering. I don't want to be a control parent. We don't want to do that. And then they're mad because you're trying to control them. So try to, teach them early to be responsible for themselves, and if you set rules, God damn it, follow them, stand on your shit. And if they don't follow them, it has to be some type of consequences. You don't want to spank them. You better take something away, make them right 100 times. Y'all know what, do y'all went to school? Or some of the jewels that the old folks gave us, we need to keep doing with our children. But the shit that we saw that we need to break them cycles, notice it, reflect on it, and try not to repeat it. So anything you can do, try not to repeat it. And when you feel yourself repeating, like, oh, my mother used to do that, it didn't work for me, try to stop. It hurt to apologize to your kids. Yeah. When you might have been wrong, you might have went over the limit, might have yelled too much. It's okay to apologize to them because they're human. Okay. Much love to y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. It's time for dinner. Police is going to help somebody. I hope they help them. Shout out to everybody. Y'all have a great week. Like and share the stream with someone you think would appreciate the content. I hope you learned something. And we're going to keep trying to bring forth some information. See y'all next week. Standards. Let's try to have some and be a little bit more conscious of how we are moving, because how we move affect other people. Simple. How we move affects other people. So be kind to somebody besides yourself. We'll be back here Tuesday. We might pop in for a coffee and cappuccino. It's been kind of a thing. I'm kind of enjoying that. So we might see y'all later. Stay warm. Be safe, because we all supposed to be getting some snow. Get ready for Sunday dinner. Yes, yum, yum.
Boys,
Y'all have
boys don't eat that.
Why?
Boys don't eat. I don't eat noodles. I'm a grown man.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
I'm Paul Stanley of KISS. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
You see, baby, I don't do this just for the recognition. I do it for the children.
You can take the children and bounce them on their knees. Bounce them on the knee and then sing a melody. The Varnell man, did you mean he's mine?
That was lovely. That was beautiful. Johnny Gill should sign you up. My.
BOS on the track. Yeah.